Greetings, fellow environmentalists and mindset changers. We are here visiting two graduates from Unza that were recently in the headlines for producing diesel from plastic. So we thought we should catch up with them and find out more about the diesel that they're actually making. On my far right, we have Mr. Lovedale Hakuyu, and right in between is Mr. Joshua Tila. That's Lovedale Hakuyu. Hakuyu. Yes, Lovedale Hakuyu. So welcome to the interview, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we'll start with your background. We'll start with you, Lovedale. What's your background? Where were you born? Where did you go to school? And what did you study at home?
I was born just here in Lusaka.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Lusaka. I did my primary school at King's Highway, University School. I went to St. Canisius for secondary.
Okay.
After St. Canisius, well, Unza.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you study at Unza?
I did public administration.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yourself, Joshua?
I was born in London. I started with it. And I did my private at Peterson.
Okay.
Peterson private.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I went to Sambu. After that, I went to Unza.
Okay.
That's where I did public administration with development studies.
Okay. So when I was coming, I was 100% sure that whatever you studied at university must have to do with engineering. So both of you did public administration.
Yeah.
So where does the passion for this kind of stuff come from? The engineering. Where does it come from? We can start with you, Josh.
For me, I think it's been my blood. It's just a background thing. I've always been into creating, making, fixing things. So I think that's where the interest is. I don't know. So when we were going to Unza and I met him, we had some friends from Germany that came for an exchange program.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the interest started from. Recycling, going green and everything. So they initially what they did was they were shocked to see the amount of plastic that we have here. And nothing was being done about it. So they started asking us questions. What do you guys do with this plastic? So that's how they gave us this information. Well, not the information that we have now, but they just told us you can get this plastic and then use it to make, clothes, other just recycling in general. So that's where interest started when we started doing some research. Interest group.
How about yourself, Lambda?
Much like what he said, actually, except mine is more of I'm sure I heard of a phrase like trash to cash.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was basically that, except at first we intended to start with other forms of recycling. From our perspective, we thought it would be easier to recycle e-waste than plastics because it just seemed pretty straightforward and you just needed to just learn how to store specific toxins and just keep them out of the environment. We actually went a step further because we actually had use for this very lethal, byproduct. So after that was a blow, we actually.
So when you talk about recycling e-waste, you're talking about gold mining, extracting minerals,
urban mining.
Urban mining.
Yeah.
Okay. Extracting minerals like
Yeah,
gold,
aluminium, silver.
okay,
Yeah.
from the e-waste.
Exactly.
What made that particular project a failure? What happened?
Basically overshadowed, actually.
It's just a funny story. We to be honest, I think our project was stolen.
The idea was stolen.
Yeah. It was already out there, but when the people that we talked to, that we shared the idea to,
ended up stealing the idea.
So that's how we detached ourselves from those guys and then started doing something else.
Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to turning the plastic to diesel, when we look at the process, the first question I'll ask is, what type of plastic do you use to make this diesel?
Well, basically, we use all kinds of plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, mainly
mixed actually.
mix. Yeah, mainly HDP and PP as well as LDP.
Okay.
Yeah, but mainly just in general, we use all kinds of plastic. Mainly packages.
Actually, a wide range
Okay.
of plastics, even extends to rubber,
Okay.
or tires.
Okay.
But we just thought maybe if we focus on plastic right now, we'll be able to expand into doing the process to tires just a little bit later on in the stages.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed in the image that's in the newspaper that was carrying the story, you love they were holding a certificate. Huh?
Yeah.
Which certificate is that, and what does the certificate say?
Oh, it's from ZABS.
Okay. ZAB being full being.
Zambia Bureau of Standards.
Okay.
I think I'll let you explain.
Yeah. So basically, we decided like to engage them because at first we wanted to. We actually after I don't know how many times we engaged them, but it was mostly a blow as well because there was some certain criteria that we were not meeting at first.
Okay.
So it had to take us. It took us quite a while to just get to an acceptable level result. That we thought that okay, at least now we're proud to say we can actually do this. Yeah. So we had to engage, and we actually also engage in Denny, and we met some. We made some friends. They were very just apparently they do international standard testing. So they are the ones which were actually planning, like intending to engage, so that they could actually get us that kind of at least paper, something that would document say this can actually meet international standards, and I think that would be very, very beneficial for us.
Okay. So when we look at the diesel itself, are we talking about the type of diesel we would use in vehicles? What type of diesel exactly are you making?
This is clean diesel, light diesel. According to the guys from SABS, this is light diesel. It's good for heavy engines. You know those big engines like in this current stage. Even though it's not refined, but it's good. It can work. It works because we've tried it. Yeah, we've been doing tests for over 2 years now. Just give when we make give to people, just so they can try it. Mainly farmers. We're working with two guys that we used to give, make and give them, tried in their trucks, and it's been good so far. It's worked. So in this current state, it's good for heavy equipment, heavy engines, like big trucks where you find in mines, as well as boilers, and even boats and gensets.
Okay. So here we've got two types. There's the dark one and the light one. What's the difference between the two?
This one is different kinds of plastics.
Okay.
Yeah, mixed. And then this one is just HDP.
HDP only.
Yeah, because it's got a high yield.
Okay, so maybe you could just give us a bit of detail. When you talk about HDP plastic, which type exactly is that?
Type 2. It's like water top, the leads.
Okay.
It's a bit much more dense compared to the PET. And it's like I don't know how I can clearly give an example. Like you know the containers like for stay soft?
Yes.
Yeah, that kind of material.
Okay.
Bit flexible.
Okay.
Somewhat hard, yeah.
Okay. So the next question I'll ask is, you had an idea already hijacked by other people.
Yeah.
What precautions are you taking to protect this particular innovation? Do you have a patent for the process of producing this?
Yeah, actually, it's under apparently it takes quite some time. It's about how many months did they tell us advertisement? 2 months advertisement, and after that, it's sorted.
Oh, that's with Parker.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what's your vision? What's the plan for the future?
Well, we actually see this as a very big thing for us, okay, because we're looking at it I think it's not a secret for anyone. If you just walk out, it won't really take you much time to just see a heap of plastic. You know, we intend to, or maybe if we just talk about the process itself, and then we give just a slight vision of where we intend to see ourselves like in the next maybe 5 years. So if we, for instance, we collected 1 ton of plastic, we'd be able to extract how much?
Between 600 to 800 liters.
Yeah,
Okay, so a ton of plastic is equivalent to 600,
between 10
between 600 to 800
Yeah.
liters.
So yeah, so if we could look at oil to say 75%, for instance, right?
Mhm.
We would be looking at how much plastic, because according to the papers that we got, it's around like what 1 million tons of plastic.
Mhm.
So if we could over 1 million actually, and that's Lusaka exclusive. So if we could recycle even, for example, just half of that, okay, we're looking at actually hundreds of thousands of barrels that the country could actually produce locally for itself. I think it's a very big win for us to actually not per se stop importing, because we have a heavy dependency on oil imports to the country. I don't think we don't really produce our own oil, but we would have something local that would help sustain. You know, if by our numbers we say we could supply enough for say 4 days in a month, every month 4 days, every month 4 days, we look at that as a huge win for us. Yeah. So in the future, now that you say, where do we see ourselves in 5 years from now? We actually see ourselves contributing to massive employment. We see ourselves having massive environmental impact. We also see ourselves penetrating and creating, some socio-economic avenues to, where people get to have jobs, where people, we're actually living in a safe environment. We would actually be confident enough to actually say we also see ourselves contributing to the health of the people, sanitary, of course, because plastics have got plastic have got a very long lifespan. You know, they are non-decomposable materials, and I would go as far as to argue to say, I think that's where we get majority of the bacteria that we have that cause, for example, cholera. You won't find cholera bacteria hanging around so long on decomposable matter because they'll decompose. I think they need a very conducive environment that's long lasting for them where they can breed, you know. So I think the plastic is the perfect environment for such. I don't know if there's, countries in the first world where they easily have like outbreaks of cholera in their lives because they've been doing recycling. Yeah, they've been doing recycling for a while now, so they clean the environment. So we actually want to, we're attacking, we're also attacking the materials also.
Anything you'd like to add?
What I would like to add is that this is a very big thing, for the country, for example, a very big thing, in a sense that, like he said, Zambia is heavily dependent on fuel imports. We don't produce our own fuel, we import. So if you look at cases where when the COVID hit and then borders were shut, oil was not coming in. So if we had such things where we're able to produce our own fuel here in Zambia, that's a very big thing. Another thing is that it's not just climate change as well. It's not just, we shouldn't go into other countries to just talk about climate change. No, climate change. We also need to talk about it. It starts here. Climate change starts here. We need to do our own part as Zambians.
And to be active.
Yeah, contribute, and it's affecting everyone. If you look at the farming seasons, the change, patterns are changing. When you go outside, the weather is showing perfect, like it's supposed to rain, but it's not raining. So those changes in weather patterns, that's climate change. We need to contribute to that as well as green jobs. This is we feel like this something like this is going to hugely impact people out there in villages, or just speaking plastic, they don't come back.
Sure.
So I feel like this is something that can benefit the country in a huge way. And yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for hosting us and allowing us to hear from you on this wonderful innovation. We hope you get all the backing and support you need so that we have innovations made in Zambia making a difference within our country, Zambia.
Okay.
So congrats and thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. I just
Please, you're
Yeah.
free to say.
You know, a lot of people have been saying, I don't know, my brother, because I'm not on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So my brother has been telling me, is this fuel clean? This is the carbon emission from this fuel? Perfect. It's got low carbon emission, low sulfur.
Okay.
It's actually better than the conventional fuel that we're using.
Okay.
In the sense that it's clean fuel. And I'm sure you can, countries out there, everyone is focusing on renewable energies, how to divert into renewable energy, to clean fuels.
Yes.
So this is a step for Zambia as well to focus on that. So I don't know.
Indeed. No, we hope investors will come through to back you up so that it's a mainstream investment.
I think it will be, if I can just contribute like brother has it. You know, I think just a spoiler, we are about to get some people that are about to help us with adding a certain quality to the oil that we want to produce. You know, as it is right now, you can easily label it as synthetic.
Okay.
You know, so what we want to do is add some certain qualities to it that will make it resistant to oil breakdown. That's actually good. We just need to find a way. After they come through, we're going to, in the process of improving its oil breakdown, we're going to have to do that without affecting the performance of the oil. And that'll be very good for vehicles because that means you get to buy less because you travel longer. Say, for instance, if conventional fuel takes you, say, 1 kilometer for 1 liter, this might probably take you maybe 1.3. So that's the plan, that's the end goal as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. So thank you so much, gentlemen. And for our viewers, thanks for joining us. Catch us on the flip side with another story.